unselfish sacrifice. We're going to get them on a run. We're going to go, and we aren't going to stop until we go that goal line. We are Notre Dame.
Get on the bus. Next stop, Notre Dame Stadium.
From the house that Rockne built to the dynasty of Air Parsegian, this is the home of Fighting Irish football.
The place where greatness is earned 1 yard at a time. The field that forged Notre Dame legends like Theismann, Montana, and Brown.
The land of never quit, never surrender. The legacy, the passion, the tradition. That is Notre Dame football.
ABC57 Kickoff is back.
Bigger and better
than ever. You're watching ABC 57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Well, it is game day, folks. The Fighting Irish challenging the Arkansas Razorbacks on the road. This is a live look in Fayetteville, Arkansas right now. A beautiful, sunny, dry day, a perfect day for Notre Dame football. Well, welcome to ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Allison Hayes, and joining me remotely over Zoom, my co-host Vahid Sadrazadeh. Hey, Vahid.
Hey there. Looks like a beautiful day in Fayetteville. If we were there, it'd probably be raining. So maybe it's good we're not there today. But Talia is there representing us in Fayetteville today. That's
right. She'll be checking in with us in just a little bit. But the Irish have to be feeling much better after that win over the Boilermakers. But it's full steam ahead for Marcus Freeman. Earlier this week, Freeman saying it's nice to be back in the win column, but the most important game is always the next one.
Objective is, hey, whatever, no matter what it takes, we got to score one more point, and no matter what it takes, we got to keep them to 1 point less. And so, the ability to do that is just to. I think you got two groups that got to continue. There's different challenges to improve, right? But they both got to focus on how to get better, all right? And offensively, we got to be able to understand, like, okay, we played really, really well. Point the finger at everybody else, but also how do we make this thing better? How do we handle success?
Well, Vahid, we will be talking quite a bit about Marcus Freeman's comments post-game last week after beating Purdue, but also Monday in his press conference, the demeanor. They very much want to celebrate this win, but at the same time, he's not shying away from full-on going at it, that there's a lot to improve as they move forward this week.
Maybe too much to improve going into this week against Arkansas. Listen, maybe Arkansas isn't amazing in the run game defense, or they haven't scored 40 points per game. But here's the reality. If you're Notre Dame and you're Marcus Freeman, and you talked about it earlier in the week, Allison, it feels like they're coming off a loss, even though Notre Dame handily beat Purdue. Purdue scored 23 points in the first half, on their way to maybe more, right? They scored 30, one in garbage time, but still, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, very cautious in his words this week and what he said, and it was interesting. We will hear more from Marcus Freeman during the show about his comments and all he had to say about Chris Ash and the defense, but it does feel like they're coming off a loss, even though they're coming off a win.
Enjoy the first one. It is stinks being 0-2, now 1-2, and those first 2 weeks are hard. Play action off of it, felt the safety bite down, and then, you're not going to catch Malachi Fields in open space, and so it was great.
Me and Jeremiah together, we scored 4 last week, and we were like, okay, we got to top it this week, we got to score 6, and we did that. That was just our challenge we had within the, running back going, hey, we want to score 6 this game. And so just, challenging ourselves to be explosive every game and do the little things to help the team.
We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but man's keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls, let it tell me I'm awesome.
No no matter what phase, no matter what unit is out there, we're ready to go when our name is called.
Please get on your knees. Came from the jungle, up in the trees. I got a few tricks up in the sleeve. One wrong move, I'ma let out the big shoes, check out the crease. Blow like I'm Bigfoot, step on the beat.
We have Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in the backfield and the best O-line in the country. It just takes all the pressure off my shoulders. I know we're going to run the ball at will.
CJ had some visions out there. You know, I'm looking into him. He gave me a little check, a little stutter, so made it happen.
If you want to touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I think we look sharp out there, bro.
Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat to the noise. And stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Nice keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Let the girl tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you want to touch me, please use caution.
Well, Vahid, first of all, let me give you props on putting that together. And the video that you shot, like, seriously, it's so good, so good. Goosebumps. I loved it. I love seeing CJ Carr at the very end there just kind of sticking his tongue out, just celebrating. It is okay to celebrate. They needed to feel that win. They got their first win of the season. But, man, no doubt about it, there's a lot to work on. And that's something that I really appreciate about Marcus Freeman. There's no coach speak there right now. He is telling it real and raw, and you could feel those emotions. And you touched on that. It felt like they were coming off of a loss. There were times where he almost looked like he didn't know what was going on with this team in just an honest, real way. But, you know, there's a fine line between him asking these players, what can I do better, and challenging themselves, to then trying to do too much. And that's something that we've had some former players talk to both of us in the past couple of weeks about, especially on tackles, is they don't need to try to hit a home run every time. They don't have to try to, you know, have a huge layout play where they blow somebody up. Just do your job, just like Tommy Reese said back in the day. Just do your job, and that's what these guys need to be doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. CJ Carr is doing his job. I mean, you and I heard it post-game. I mean, he went through the progression of that touchdown like he's been playing football for, 30 years, right? I mean, he sounded like a pro when describing that play and that check down and what he saw. That's a good sign. What's not a good sign is some of the finger pointing that may be going on inside of that locker room. And we will touch on it a little bit later, but I was speaking to Evan Sharpley about this, and I'm asking him, like, where is that? You've been a part of teams that haven't been exactly like championship caliber teams. What have you seen? And he's like, the problem is once there's finger pointing, that doesn't really stop. It doesn't just get better overnight. Like, the defense can improve, but if you're looking for a magic potion, that's not really going to happen from week to week. And that defensive coordinator position, they're missing their former defensive coordinator more than we think they're missing their defensive coordinator. That's a hard shift to make from year to year, and it looks like in week 4, they're still trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, we will continue to get into that conversation. But first, our reporter, Talia Vaya, she's made the trip down to SEC country, and she joins us now from Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Hey, Talia, how's the atmosphere been down there in Fayetteville? Looks like a beautiful day.
Hey, Allison and Vahid. Yes, it is a beautiful day out here. Not a cloud in sight. They just had the player walk. The energy is absolutely high. And the Irish are about to take on a 2-2 SEC team. Now, don't be fooled. They may be ranked, but their offense is legit, putting up 43 points a game. But the Irish have firepower of their own. Jeremiah Love and running back Jadarian Price. They will be the iconic duo, I think, in this game. And Love told me he thinks his partner is the best in the country.
They respect each other's abilities, but they also respect each other as teammates. And I think that just makes for a really good kind of yin and yang, if you will, between the two of them.
The power pair combined for 6 touchdowns against Purdue. Love has been steady, 52 carries for 284 yards. averaging 5.5 a pop, with 4 total touchdowns and nearly 370 all-purpose yards.
We aren't selfish. Me personally, I want to see every one of my guys eat.
His partner Price, he's been electric. On just 27 carries, he's averaging almost 7 yards a touch with 5 rushing scores.
His bread and butter is, his quick movements, his quick feet, his burst.
Add in a 100-yard kickoff return against Purdue, and he's already piled up nearly 375 yards of offense.
It starts with their being team-first guys. Team glory is what we're about, and you can't just kind of speak about it. You got to be about it.
The team comes first. Whatever we need to do to, get our first win of the season. Everything for team glory, really. Whatever I need to do, whether that's score 6 touchdowns or score 0.
Then there's quarterback C.J. Carr, completing 10 of 12 passes for 223 yards and no interceptions. He credits all his weapons around him.
It's amazing. It's easy. It's you have Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in the backfield and the best O-line in the country. It just takes all the pressure off my shoulders.
The Irish piled up a whopping 535 total yards against Purdue, moving the chains for 27 first downs and averaging nearly 8.5 yards a snap. Add in explosive plays of 46, 48, 66, and 100 yards, and this Irish offense showed just how dangerous it can be when the big guys up front control the game.
We're going to beat Arkansas this week, good Lord willing, if we play the way we're capable of playing.
Yes, Love put it best, telling me the only one who can stop them is themselves. Pressure is a privilege, and the Irish are ready to prove it. Head coach Marcus Freeman even saying that during tough times, it's fight or flight, and the Irish are ready to fight here today in Arkansas. Up next, I just discovered what Woo Pig Sooie is. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you. But for now, reporting from Arkansas, I'm Talia by ABC57 News.
Well, all right, Talia, thank you. Nice job there. I do want to know what Woo Pig Sooie is. That was one of the conversations we had this week before sending Talia down there. I'm like, you got to find out. Ask people, what does that mean? We know they say it, but I'm interested to see what the origin is of it and why in the world they say it.
I'm really looking forward to finding out why, for sure. Coming up, we've got so much more here on ABC 57 Kickoff. Play like a champion today, the iconic sign, the part of the fabric of Notre Dame football. We dig into what makes it so special and who the artist is. Allison, you've got a couple live guests in studio that know a thing or two about this Notre Dame football team as well.
Heck yeah, we've got the Irish Illustrated guys coming in to join us, Drew Mentok and John Bryce, and we're going to deep dive into this matchup, and then we have a lot more to come as well, including Woo Pig Sooie. Stick around.
You're 4 games into the season when you have some chatter in the locker room already. Is there a disconnect between those coaches and those players in the locker room?
It's a red flag for me. You look over the course of the past 2 years, really the heart and soul of why Notre Dame had success the last couple years was not really what was done offensively. When you lose a coordinator, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I don't know if that was maybe, played out to forward-facing Notre Dame fans, was what that really means to the identity of the team. Certainly losing a couple of guys on the defensive side, but not a ton. I mean, not enough to say, man, this is a rebuilding year.
They've struggled against stopping the run. Arkansas's defense has. And then when you have 2 running backs like Notre Dame has and their ability to really control a game, I think this is one of those spots where you can fully expect Notre Dame to take advantage there.
When you run the ball, you control the game, you control the clock. You actually, when you can consistently run the football against the defense, you take away their manhood. I mean, you break their heart.
I cannot stress enough the value of having running backs and an offensive line that's able to come off the ball. When you see a guy, put their hand in the dirt and you know they're coming off the ball, offensive linemen love that. They love that. They love to be the hammer and not the nail.
once they start bringing guys up, that's a perfect time to hit Malachi Fields on another post, or maybe Jane Greathouse on a slot fade, because it's been a while since we've really seen him be a big part of this game plan. But I'm sure that Arkansas's entire defensive game plan is going to be about stopping those guys. And, I don't think they will. And when they really get aggressive trying to stop them, Notre Dame definitely has the tools on the outside to beat them over the top.
I think it's a different year and a different mentality here where this offense is going to have to put up 30, 40, 50 points to compete against some of these offenses as we get deeper into the season.
Teams are moving the ball.
Yep.
They are
and that's
the ball.
Vahid, what I always usually like to do, watch the first couple of drives and see who's controlling the line of scrimmage. And it's pretty clear, all 3 games, Notre Dame's defensive line really has not won clear out consistently. If my football IQ and knowledge has taught me anything, usually if that's what you're seeing now, it's not going to be like a flip of the switch and it goes from night to day, right? It isn't from dark to light. There may be a little gradual improvement, but it's not like all of a sudden there's just a flip that switched and, the defense is playing at the level they played last year.
Well, Vahid, we've both had the opportunity to now do a podcast with former Notre Dame football players. Mine is new this season, the Locked On Irish Squad show featuring Irish legends Reggie Brooks and Ellen Pinkett. But you've been doing yours, the Varsity Brews podcast, love the name, by the way, for a couple of years now with former Notre Dame quarterback Evan Sharpley. And I loved the point that he made. He said this offense is going to be having to score 30, 40, 50 points a game. And I think that is 100% true. And we talked about this off camera that, in years past, the defense was the one that you relied on, that you knew was going to win the game, and they were the ones that took that pressure and took it really off of the offense while Riley Leonard and that offense were trying to figure it out. And now it's sort of the opposite. And you've got a young C.J. Carr, but you've got 2 of the best running backs in the nation. You have a wide receiver room that's really growing and developing, and they are putting up huge numbers. That's something for me that I'm actually not concerned about this week. I think they are going to put big numbers up once again.
If they control the line of scrimmage. I think that is going to be the big key, right? Can you control the line of scrimmage? Evan touched on that as well, and I thought it was a really good point. In those first 3 games, they were getting pushed around in some of the contest. Even against Purdue, they were getting pushed around. Opponents are pushing the ball down the field, and it's right now, it's like we have this bend but don't break defense mentality. And I don't love that because it puts pressure on your offense every time to score. And that's where I get a little weary, is when that offense needs to score every time down the field. That really puts the pressure on. And we've seen it. Florida State last night, they lost. You can't rely on the offense to get it done every single time. You got to have some defense. So I do think they're going to improve. I do think this is the week if they're going to try and do something. But run the ball. Trust your offensive linemen and run the ball this week.
And Notre Dame's defense has been pretty good against the run, stopping the run, and that is a weakness on this team. Of course, Taylon Green, the quarterback, we are going to talk a lot about him today, and you're going to hear a lot about him during the broadcast because he is so good as a dual threat, and that is going to be their biggest challenge, is containing him. But we will get into that more because first, we're going to check in with our meteorologist, Dave Caulfield. Just been trying to avoid rain all season, but it looks like we may have finally hit some dry weather here. How about it, Dave?
Yeah, Allison, Vahid, it's been such a struggle to keep rain out of the forecast. And, I said enough is enough. Get out of here. As we look at the tailgate weather here in South Bend, it is absolutely beautiful. Temperatures rising through the 60s and 70s, really not even a cloud in the sky, and a very similar weather setup all the way down in Arkansas. You can see the rain staying away from South Bend and in the Fayetteville area as well. We have some rain off to the east and west, but we'll zoom in to Fayetteville. We have clear skies right now from Fayetteville all the way down to Fort Smith and really all across that area of the country. A beautiful day for football. I know going into the season there was some concern, we're going to Arkansas late in September. It could still be pretty hot and humid. Not really all that much today. Temperatures in the 70s through most of the game, reaching highs right around 80, and the humidity stays low. That is key. it will feel pretty dry out there, and the wind should be tolerable as well. A perfect football weather forecast. Hopefully the Irish can come through like the weather finally has for the game in Fayetteville. We'll be right back with more ABC 57 Kickoff.
We are celebrating 10 years of ABC 57 Kickoff, and that's 10 seasons packed with fighting Irish football and deep dives into the history and traditions surrounding Notre Dame.
Well, for nearly a decade, we told you the story of Lori Wenger, the artist behind one of the biggest staples of the Fighting Irish football program. Take a look.
Definition: time is a measured period during which action, process, or condition exists. 200 years from now, how will your time be remembered? Will it be by single acts of kindness, or maybe by the journey, the process of getting from point A to point B? Or is it the state of mind, the feeling to which you shed onto others? 200 years from now, how will your time be remembered for today?
A long, long time ago.
Today is a special day for South Bend native Lori Wenger. A day rooted in action and process and hampered only by condition.
I was the only one that did it. There was nobody else. It was all hand done at that time. And I could have done it because I took commercial art in high school.
30 years ago, Wenger worked at the University of Notre Dame as a graphic artist and sign painter. Hundreds of signs, footballs, all by brushstroke. When one day in 1986, football head coach Lou Holtz sent her another project.
Went to the library and got all the books on the history of Notre Dame, wanted to know everything about it. And I noticed a picture in there of the entranceway to the stadium, and it had "Play Like a Champion Today." I said, we're going to get that sign made up again. We're going to put the same place it was in that book.
It was just another sign. I had other things on my desk that they wanted me to do, and so somebody from football came in, gave me a scrap of paper and said, "Play like a champion today," and I was given it and said, "Coach wants this in blue and gold." Okay, so I used the colors available to me at the time, and the rest is history.
And with permission from the university, Lori could sell the sign.
Time went by and other people wanted it too, so I was like, okay. And so I started to make it into a business. It was like, holy cow, a lot of people want this. So I was just floored by that.
And for the next 4 years, Lori didn't have much of a life because she hand painted every single one of those signs.
I think it was close to, 600.
Yeah.
We did hand paint in our basement. She worked all day and then come home and did it at night, and we were both down there. She wasn't down there alone. And then Don would come and help. It was a group thing.
The two married for all but 7 years, and in a moment, everything would change.
You know, when you're married and your wife's diagnosed with MS, and you look at the challenges that are going to lay ahead of you in your marriage and going on with your life, and you say "I do," and you say "in sickness and in health," and I took that seriously. It's not easy, but it's her enthusiasm, her smile that keeps you going. You get so proud of her every day that it's rough.
The disease stripping her of even the simplest of passions. Since her diagnosis 23 years ago, Lori has lost much of her mobility. But today, after a decade, this painter is reunited with her past.
I do no friend.
Waking up the echoes in her mind that can't be forgotten. And it's in these brushstrokes that her time is told.
When you hit that sign, I want you to remember all the sacrifices you have made, all the effort you have put forth, all the effort that the people and players that came here before you in building this great tradition have put forth.
Her sign's going to be there in 200 years. Her legacy is going to live on in that sign. Her artwork is going to be there. So that's kind of neat. That's a good legacy for her to have.
200 years from now, how will your time be remembered? Will it be action? Will it be the process? Or will it be condition? How will you be remembered for today?
Wow.
Well, Lori will be watching today, and MS has stricken her of much of her mobility, but she still communicates with me every week on Facebook, and we still chat about Notre Dame and the sign. And Allison, I know you and I, it's something special to us as well. Through the years, we've taken many pictures. We've been fortunate enough to take many pictures by the sign as well.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at that. You there with Lori. Someone in an interview podcast, you're there with your wife, Heather. They asked me, what does Notre Dame mean to you? And I said, well, it's really become woven into my everyday life. I have a picture. There's my daughter, Emery, to have that moment with her in there. And she's just a little girl. And on my wedding day, they allowed us to come into the stadium and take a picture at the sign and give a kiss and all that good stuff. But it's just amazing. Over the years now, going on 20 plus years, it's just, it literally is woven into the fabric of my everyday life, and that sign is so meaningful. Coming up just a little bit later on in the show, we're going to look back at Lou Holtz's career, and I talk with him about the Play Like a Champion Today sign and what his motivation was behind it. Well, welcome back to ABC57 Kickoff. Two programs in similar situations, both teams trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Both teams with prolific offenses, while their defenses are still trying to play at the same high level as their offense.
Well, Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman is not overlooking this Arkansas team by any stretch of the imagination. He knows it's going to be a tough challenge on the road in SEC country this weekend.
Extremely talented Arkansas team. All right, they're 2-2, but if you watch their games, they have a chance to win both of those losses in the last drive, and so it could easily be 4-0. It's a top 5 offense in the country, so the challenge for the defense doesn't get any easier. They're going to face a top 5 offense, and their defense is good. I know this is our first meeting with Arkansas, and so be a great challenge, and we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Parity in college football this year, Allison. I mean, they could be 0-4. Notre Dame could be 0-3. I mean, you really don't know what you're going to get week to week with both of these schools, but certainly head coach Marcus Freeman knows not to overlook Arkansas, a tough SEC opponent and place to play.
Well, I will give you credit for this, because even in the preseason, you were telling us that you really felt like this Arkansas game, you had it circled. You felt concerned that Arkansas was going to be good and that they were going to give Notre Dame a really tough game. And I'm like, no way. They're the bottom of the SEC. No chance. And, of course, now we're seeing how good this offense is. And when you're scoring as many points as they are, you have an opportunity to win. It's just they are in the same boat. They got to get that defense up to par. Now, Notre Dame defensive coordinator Chris Ash, he's not the only coach in today's game who is sitting in the hot seat. Arkansas head coach Sam Pittman is 2-2 this season, dropping their last 2 games, including blowing an 18-point lead to Memphis this past weekend. The Razorbacks entered the game as 7.5-point favorites over the Tigers, leading 31-20 in the third quarter, but the offense was held to just a field goal in that second half, and the defense gave up a 64-yard touchdown to give Memphis the lead. Then with 1:14 to go, Arkansas fumbled it in the red zone. Memphis recovered and held on to win 32-31. This week, Pittman addressed the pressure he is under to get the program going in the right direction.
It'd be kind of hard to have more pressure. I mean, I think the pressure you put on yourself is obviously a lot, because you want to do well for a lot of reasons. And but I've kind of had this same type pressure for, I don't know, 3 years now. It seems like 40. Some more positive thoughts about our program is to win ball games. And that's really the bottom line. You can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, but what's the score? And that really is what changes people's perception or perspective of you.
I love that. It feels like 40, and I imagine it does. Pittman definitely feeling the heat, and it is a tough road ahead for Arkansas. Get this, for them, they have, with 24 ranked Notre Dame right now, today, and then after that, 6 of the next 7 SEC teams the Razorbacks will be ranked matchups as well. So it doesn't get any easier after today. Whether they survive and win or they lose, it's just going to get tougher going down the road.
Well, here's what I have to say about that. Somebody, either Chris Ash or Pitt, going to have a rough week. I mean, somebody is going to have a rough week. Pittman or Ash. I mean, whether you boil it down, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a tight matchup. And let's not overlook this fact, Allison. It's a noon kickoff. When's the last time Notre Dame played a noon Eastern kickoff game? It's early. It's 11 o'clock there. So maybe not talking about that, maybe not the deciding factor, but it's an early game. So all of these things to say somebody's going to have a bad week.
Yeah, absolutely. Pittman right now 32-33 for his career at Arkansas since 2020. And just a little note, if he finishes at 500 this season, the buyout for him, $9.8 million. I think the boosters won't have any trouble coming up with that money.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to Razorbacks fans, we know they are passionate. Talk about those boosters. They're also unique, to say the least, with lots of history and traditions of their own, including a very unusual cheer. Artalia Vaya now joins us again live after taking to the streets of Fayetteville to ask the fans the toughest question. What does Woo Pig Sooie really mean?
Hey, Allison and Vahid, or should I say, howdy y'all in SEC country. Now look at this, a fan just handed me this. Play like a Razorback today, but I say play like a champion. And one thing I keep hearing and seeing all over on buildings, posters, and even t-shirts is Woo Pig Sooie. What that means, I didn't know, so I went out and asked fans for you. Take a listen. What is Woo Pig Sooie? Explain it.
All right, so I'm not 100% certain about it, but from what I think it is, I think it's supposed to mimic like a hog call, like calling in like the pigs for feeding time.
I have no idea what it is, but I'm excited to see it tomorrow.
Woo Pig Sooie is our calling the hogs. It gets the crowd going, it gets the players going, and we're just ready for the Hogs to win.
I think it's great. We love coming to different college football towns and seeing different traditions.
To me, Woo Pig Sooie means call the Hogs and let's win this game! Woo!
It's my first time hearing it today, but definitely excited to hear it tomorrow.
It's just like our chant. It's just like every major school has like a chant and everything, and we take passion in it. We love it. We do it every kickoff, every start of every game, the end of games, whenever at bars, whenever like popular like music artists come to Arkansas. It's just like an Arkansas thing, and we love it.
It is loud. It's unique for sure. You don't really get it, in other places. It's loud. In certain instances, maybe it's kind of an intimidation thing.
It's a family. It's a family call to dinner. To the Razorbacks, it means everything. Go Hogs! Woo Pig Sooie! Razorbacks!
Well, now we know, and I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to hear Woo Pig Sooie today, live in the stadium right behind me. Hopefully I will be able to get a video to share with you all on social media. But for now, reporting from Arkansas, I'm Talia Baya, ABC57 News. Back to you, Allison and Vahid.
She had to go in there for the real deep dive, hard-hitting information, right? We had to know what that meant. Now we know.
I absolutely love that. I love that somebody handed her the whatever you call it, play like a Razorback today, and she just chucked it behind her back. She's like, get this out of here. Maybe Irish fans were hoping for a little bacon today and not, the dinner call. I'm just all I'll say about that.
Absolutely. Well, this weekend is special for Hall of Fame coach Lou Holtz as well. He made the trip to Fayetteville to watch this first ever matchup between his former two teams that he coached for, Arkansas and Notre Dame. We'll have more coming up. Well, it's a big weekend for Lou Holtz fans on both sides of this matchup. Last night, Coach Holtz made a special appearance at an Evening with Legends event with the Notre Dame Club of Arkansas. The special VIP one-hour session gave fans a chance to take pictures and share stories with the championship-winning coach. The $500 ticket price guaranteed fans 1 minute with Holtz. So they better have taken those selfies pretty fast. Now, Lou Holtz is not just dear to Irish fans' hearts. He is a legend in Fayetteville as well. Let's take a look back at his journey from Catholic schoolboy to college football Hall of Fame coach.
You made good choices, good things are going to happen to you. Wherever you are, good or bad, because of choices you made.
Louis Leo Holtz was born in Follinsby, West Virginia on January 6, 1937. His roots in the Catholic faith and Notre Dame football run deep.
I was taught by the Sisters of Notre Dame at St. Aloysius Grade School, and we prayed for the team every Friday. But then my uncles, my grandpa, all of them followed Notre Dame. And so it just had a magical place.
Lou attended Kent State University, becoming the first member of his family to enroll in college. He played football and studied history. He also served 7 years as an officer in the United States Army Reserves. Lou's coaching career began in Iowa as an assistant. From there, he coached at Connecticut, South Carolina, and Ohio State, to name a few. In 1969, he landed his first head coaching job at William & Mary and went on to North Carolina State, Arkansas, and Minnesota. He even spent a year coaching in the NFL with the New York Jets. But that stint with the Jets was short-lived, and Holtz jumped at the chance to get back into college football, accepting the Arkansas head coaching job in 1977, where he instantly made an impact. His first season in Fayetteville, Holtz led the Razorbacks to an upset victory over perennial powerhouse Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. Arkansas was recognized by the Rothman poll as the 1977 co-national champions, along with Texas and Notre Dame. In his 7 seasons at Arkansas, Holtz compiled a 60, 21, and 2 record and 6 bowl game appearances. Then, in 1986, Lou took the reins at Notre Dame.
I introduce to you Lou Holtz, the new football coach at the University of Notre Dame.
Thank you. Thank you, Gina.
The Fighting Irish were struggling, but Holtz was tough, known for his discipline.
There's only one way you get respect, and that's by looking somebody in the eye for 60 minutes.
To emphasize the importance of working as a team, Lou had the names taken off of the backs of his players' jerseys. He also brought back the now iconic "Play Like a Champion Today" sign, hanging it up outside the Irish locker room.
When you hit that, you're going to think of all the great players that came before you, the sacrifice they made, and the tradition is always under construction.
After some tough losses those first 2 years, Lou led Notre Dame to its first national title since 1977.
Number 1 in the 1988 collegiate football season.
Beating the West Virginia Mountaineers in the Fiesta Bowl. He received multiple Coach of the Year honors. Under Coach Holtz, Notre Dame played the most difficult schedule in the nation 3 different seasons.
You don't come to Notre Dame to learn to do something. You come to Notre Dame to learn to be somebody.
Often remembered for his fiery yet inspirational speeches and quotes.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you want to do something bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't want to do it bad enough, you'll find an excuse.
Lou left Notre Dame after the 1996 season. In his final game at Notre Dame Stadium, the Irish rolled to a 62-0 victory over Rutgers, giving the legendary coach his 100th victory at Notre Dame.
I will be with you. I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Lou Holtz, a loving husband, father, philanthropist, coach, mentor, friend, who always stood true in God, country, Notre Dame.
As I always say, we're Notre Dame and you ain't.
Well, and interesting to note there that Lou Holtz was the coach for the last national championship for both Arkansas and Notre Dame, although the Razorbacks did not officially claim that title back in 1977 because it was not unanimous. But either way, Coach Holtz is certainly a legend in both the Razorbacks and the Irish Eyes.
Well, and interesting, great story, Allison, and interesting to note that he's going to be there on hand for the game today and talking to fans, the media, people who came out from Notre Dame to see this game. And interesting to note, they always place the Play Like a Champion Today sign on the door that comes out of the locker room for the Irish when they play on the road games. Who knows? Does he get a picture with the sign today? Does he root for the Irish? I think so.
I agree with you 100%. Now, coming up after the break, Drew Mentok and John Bryce from Irish Illustrated will join me in studio to go deep into today's matchup. Well, time now for the Irish injury report. It looks like it's going to be a game-time decision for Notre Dame's best player in the secondary. Sophomore cornerback Leonard Moore is listed as questionable. He missed the Purdue game with an ankle injury he suffered against Texas A&M, but he just updated on College Game Day. Coach Freeman said, it's getting close, but I don't think if I'm overly optimistic that he is ready to go. So looking like he is still going to be out for this game. Now, defensive back Devontae Smith has been upgraded to probable. Smith is battling a right ankle injury that he suffered against Miami in Week 1. He missed the Texas A&M and Purdue games. Freshman Dallas Golden got the start in Smith's place last week and had a heck of a game with 5 total tackles and the interception. Then on special teams, kicker Noah Burnett has also been upgraded to probable. He missed the Purdue game with a right hip injury. Freshman Eric Schmidt got the nod in Burnett's place last week. Now, he was perfect on extra points, but missed a 31-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. Burnett is 3 for 3 on field goals this season. Defensive tackle Jared Dawson is expected to return today. He was held out of last week's game due to an undisclosed nagging injury that prevented him from fully practicing. So Dawson should be able to help out the interior of the defense, but that secondary is still very much in question. The Irish allowed 303 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns to the Boilermakers. Notre Dame is ranked 103 in passing efficiency this season. And now let's break this down, shall we? I've got a couple of experts here joining me now in John Bryce and Drew Mentok from Irish Illustrated. Guys, thank you, first of all, for joining us on the show. I just finished talking about the Irish injury report, and I'd love to have the two of you sort of break down, what it's looking like with both Devontae Smith and Noah Burnett looking like they're coming back to play. How big of a boost do each of those guys give Notre Dame today?
Yeah, I think it could be significant if Noah Burnett is ready to give it a go. I mean, you mentioned that missed field goal by Eric Schmidt. I think he's a guy who's only missed 2 field goals inside the 40-yard line over the last 2.5 seasons. So even though it is a right hip injury, that's not great for a kicker. He should be somebody who could be more reliable on those short distances, which in a high-scoring game, every point might count today.
Yeah, and for Devontae Smith, that's huge, especially with Leonard Moore very unlikely to be able to go today. Devontae Smith is a bigger-framed guy that can play in the nickel, but can also help you in run support, and they're going to need somebody physical like Devontae Smith to deal with Taylon Green, the Arkansas quarterback. He's a bigger-framed guy, around 6'4", like 230. He packs a punch himself as the quarterback, and Devontae Smith prides himself on his physical play. That's something Notre Dame has to have, and has to have a lot of today against the Hogs.
And you have to imagine, so Sam Pittman and Barry Odom, the Purdue coach, they used to coach together at Arkansas. Odom was the defensive coordinator. They had a phone call on Sunday, and you have to imagine that conversation included how to go after Notre Dame's secondary.
Yeah, and the blueprint has been laid out by all 3 teams, really, that Notre Dame has faced this year. As you alluded to, Allison, over 300 yards passing per game. Notre Dame is not rushing the quarterback effectively at all. Interesting stat here. They only have 4 sacks through 3 games. That's the same number of sacks as Alabama and Georgia. So it's not just Notre Dame struggling to get to the opponent's quarterbacks this year, but it's something that Notre Dame has to rectify today.
Well, a true freshman Dallas Golden, he got the start at nickel against Purdue in place of Smith. Drew, you had a story about Golden this week. And, just talk about the impact that Golden made. And if Smith is back, how do you still get him on the field? How do you get his ability and talent out there when he maybe doesn't have that spot to start in?
Yeah, absolutely. I think even in the first game when Smith was available, he only played about 37 snaps at nickel. So he is a guy who maybe isn't as strong in coverage as you'd like him to be at nickel. So I think they would still want to rotate him in there, but also it's possible Smith does help out at corner with more injured. But I think what you saw from Dallas Golden last week is he's a former top 100 player. He was Notre Dame's Sean Alexander, freshman defensive player of the year, watch list nominee before the season, and you saw that talent come to bear. You saw that lost my train of thought. But you saw that he can make those special plays. They're giving up a lot of plays in the passing game anyways. So if you're going to have somebody out there, at least he can make an interception. He made a pass deflection. He had a tackle for a loss. So if you're going to have guys giving up some plays, at least he can make those game-changing plays to stop a drive or get the ball back.
Well, so much conversation this week has been about man, zone, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. The secondary ranked 132 in the nation, giving up, you said, nearly 300 yards per game. From both of your professional opinions, Marcus Freeman says it's not the defensive play calling, it's execution. What is the problem, and how do they get it fixed?
Well, it is execution, but it's also they're playing more zone than they have previously under Al Golden. They're missing Xavier Watts for sure, the former Nagurski winner. And then, they're not getting pressure on the quarterback. That means you have to hold your coverage longer. We've heard Marcus Freeman talk about technique more. That means technique has changed because the technique was executed very well last year. I think that's important to know. And I asked Marcus about that Thursday, and he said sometimes they're making up for bad technique in practice because they're still making the plays against the scout team. Well, these are not scout team guys that they're facing today. This is a top 5 offense, an offense that for the first time since Arkansas joined the SEC in 1992 has scored 28 points in the first half of all 4 of its games so far.
And I think you look at what Al Golden had to do a few years ago where he came in, Notre Dame did kind of regress in defense a little bit under him, and he talked about having to throw a bunch of things out. And I think you referenced Sam Pittman's press conference. He talked about how he likes the way they match up against Notre Dame, and then specifically talked about how Notre Dame throws a bunch of different coverages out at them. So I'm kind of thinking maybe it'd be good to simplify it a little bit, make sure you're only running with the players, especially if you have young guys like Dallas Golden and Mark Zachary out there, running what they feel confident in and can do well rather than just trying to trick up the offense all the time.
All right, well, we're running out of time. Just a yes, no. Notre Dame gets the win today?
I think so.
I said no in our prediction.
All right. Well, keeping it interesting. I like it. I hope you're wrong, though. Notre Dame's going to get the win. I'm with John, Team John today. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Irish Illustrated, John Bryce, Drew Mentak. You guys do an incredible job for Irish Illustrated. Thank you for joining us today on Set. Still more to come here on ABC 57 Kickoff.
The Fighting Irish putting up their first win of the season.
It's a lot better feeling coming up here after a victory.
And with the win over the Boilermakers, it's full steam ahead.
We celebrated it, and then you got to get back to work.
After a dominating performance against Purdue.
No matter who we're up against, we're going to go out there and make plays.
Today, the offense looks to run it back.
We're looking forward. All right, we're going to beat Arkansas this week, good Lord willing.
The Irish setting their sights on Razorback Stadium.
Extremely talented Arkansas team. Right? They're 2-2. It's a top 5 offense in the country. So the challenge for the defense doesn't get any easier.
The Irish defense facing their latest test in SEC country.
Take it one day at a time, keep getting better, keep fixing our mistakes, and keep executing.
It's the Fighting Irish taking on the Wild Hogs.
At the end of the day, we're ready for it. They're ready for it. I'm ready for it. The team's ready for it. Ain't really nothing new to us.
This is ABC 57 Kickoff, presented by Aftet Dental, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Allison Hayes. Vahid Sadrazadeh joins me remotely via Zoom, and the Irish are, of course, coming off of their first victory of the season with a 56-30 win over Purdue last weekend. But it was anything but just a celebration for head coach Marcus Freeman. Vahid, in his post-game press conference, he kept it very real.
He did, as real as can be. I mean, there are a ton of issues going on with this defense, maybe some even finger pointing going on in that locker room. And after 3 shaky performances on defense, they really need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out this week against Arkansas.
That's what it takes to create success, is the ownership of hey, it's all of us. It's all of us. We all got to buy in. We all got to work on it. We've tried to be more intentional maybe about having a little bit more individual time, with certain positions to work on that technique that we've been talking about. But you can't just do all individual in practice. You got to continue. You got to make sure that our guys understand the schemes they're facing on.
We're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on, Allison, about, Marcus Freeman being asked the question, are you going to call plays and be behind the headset? And he said, what's that going to do? What is that going to do for our team? It's not about that. It's about the execution. And I really think it's going to come down to execution this week, and they may be without one of their top safeties again.
Yeah, and you talk about the execution. One of the things that we've talked with Chris Zorich last week is, if you're not comfortable in the scheme that Chris Ash is dialing up and you're not sure where you're supposed to be, what your assignment is, you can't play freely. You can't play with violence. That's that word that Coach Freeman said last season. You can't play with urgency because you're not 100% sure where you're going, where you're supposed to be. They have to be comfortable. And John Bryce just talked about it. They might need to dial it down a little bit and not try to get so fancy with those coverages and keep it more simple so that they can be locked into their assignment, know exactly where they're supposed to be, and then they can go after them and just pound the rock, go after that tackle, get them, wrap them up, bring them down.
And it's about making tackles, right? We've seen plenty of missed tackles from the cornerbacks and from the safeties. And really quiet. We haven't really talked about the linebacking core a lot this season. And I just wonder how much that's playing into the defensive play calling. Jack Kaiser was a 6-year veteran that was calling the defensive plays. He's not there this year. And, they're kind of like transferring guys in and out every other play. And so I wonder how much that's having an effect on this overall defense as well. But they're going to have to figure it out this week. Again, it doesn't get any easier for them. Arkansas's quarterback is a big-time playmaker, and he's going to try and he's watched some film, obviously, from this year, and he's going to try and replicate what other teams have been doing.
To your point, and I'll keep it quick, but a former player told me that one thing that could be behind all of the rotation that we're seeing on the Notre Dame defense, getting so many different players in and out, is they have until that fourth game to enter the transfer portal. So they could be trying to get guys reps, get them on the field to try to keep them here so they don't transfer out. That is one of the things with the transfer portal that is new, of course, to college football in the recent seasons. Now, Notre Dame tight end on the other side of things, Ty Washington, he transferred in from Arkansas this offseason, and this is a big weekend for Ty. At Arkansas, he had 3 career touchdowns, but battled through a season-ending injury before making the move ultimately to Notre Dame, and he's not getting caught up in any trash talk about his former team when it comes to the differences between the two programs, but he says he does have a feeling that it is home here in South Bend.
The community around here is great. The locker room, that's a big difference. At Arkansas, after practice, everybody would just leave 15 minutes in after you get back in for practice. Here, it's probably still guys in there right now just playing, talking, chopping it up, making sure you're okay, or playing ping pong or something like that, goofing around. To be honest, I just want to win. That's all I want. I just want to win, get that over with, and get a dub just like any other week, to be honest. I still got love for the fan base. I still got love for the players that's on the team. I still talk to them, to be honest. Just still got love for some of the coaches. I just want to get a win like any other week.
Fair enough. He just wants to get a win with his current team. He does say he absolutely loves playing for Irish offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, and he is starting to find his place within the system. Last week against Purdue, Washington made his first start, and he finished with 3 receptions for 19 yards as a bonus. He also said he found out after transferring that he has a ton of Notre Dame fans in his family, so they're going to enjoy this competition today, I'm sure.
Hey, it worked out, and, the way that Notre Dame's been running the ball, that opens up the passing game, that opens up opportunities for Washington and for Malachi Fields and some of the other guys on the outside that they're trying to give the rock to. I mean, you have a lot of weapons on the offense, and, CJ has a lot of options to go to. So Ty Washington could have a big game today, so watch out for that.
Well, the offense lit it up last week, but questions remain on the other side of the ball, as we alluded to, under new defensive coordinator Chris Ash. The Irish are still giving up plenty of points, and fans are asking, what happened to a defense that ranked in the top 5 nationally in multiple categories just what feels like a few months ago? ABC57's Talia Baya now takes a closer look on whether this unit is stepping forward or falling into a pattern. Talia.
Yes, although Notre Dame clocked in a 26-point win last weekend, they still gave up 30 points to an unranked Purdue. Marcus Freeman said the focus all week has been playing with proper technique at a higher level and playing with velocity during zone coverage, because right now the defense is not putting up championship caliber qualities. Notre Dame's defense looked better against Purdue, but the picture isn't perfect. The Irish gave up 286 yards in the first half alone, letting the Boilermakers average 6.5 yards per play early on.
We have the answers. We got to all buy in and execute this the right way. And that starts with leadership. That starts from the top down. And that's my job, but also Chris Ash's job.
But after halftime, they tightened up, holding Purdue to just 76 rushing yards total and making more plays behind the line.
I feel like we're coming along good. We're developing. I mean, we still have a long ways to go.
The Irish defense finished with 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions, showing signs of growth.
You know, we just got to keep our head down, keep working, keep getting better. Obviously, you know, we played good teams. You know, there's going to be mistakes on both sides. You know, football is not a perfect game.
Still, the secondary struggled in key moments, especially against hurry-up drives.
It's football. Keep playing football. You know, it's football at the end of the day. You know, we got to come out hard. You know, come out, you know, execute.
One freshman who flashed real promise was cornerback Dallas Golden. In his first college start last weekend, he finished with 5 tackles, an interception, a pass breakup, and even a half tackle for loss. Linebacker Jaden Osbury has also been making strides, seeing his role grow, a clear sign of the coaching staff's trust.
For me, I'm never going to be, you know, satisfied. I feel like I can always get better at every little thing, even the stuff that I think I'm doing, you know, perfect, which is never perfect.
So far, Osbury has racked up 13 total tackles, and he's expected to shoulder even more responsibility as the season goes on. His biggest test will come in physical, run-heavy matchups where he'll need to hold his ground and finish plays in contact. So yes, it was better execution, but against a Purdue team that's not nearly as explosive as Texas A&M. Now this is another very strong SEC opponent. The Razorbacks are putting up 324.3 passing yards per game. That is the 15th most in the country. And now starter cornerback Leonard Moore is listed as out, and like you said, Devontae Smith is probable. So we'll see if he will see the field, and we'll also see if Chris Ash can clean up the defense in this must win. But for now, reporting from Fayetteville, Arkansas, I'm Talia Baya, ABC57 News. Back to Allison and Vahid.
Well, Vahid, Coach Freeman alluded to it in his press this week that, you know, there's only so much those cornerbacks and safeties that a secondary can do when you're giving the quarterback all the time in the world. No pressure coming at this quarterback all season. And you've got Taylon Green, who is super mobile. So they've got their work cut out for him. I was just talking with Dave Caulfield. He said just 6 blitzes on the quarterback last week, all game. That's tough. That is not enough pressure to get on this extremely good and mobile QB.
Well, I mean, that's just not enough. I mean, look at how many programs can blitz with just 4 linemen. Not many. You know, if you're getting home to the quarterback with just 4, that's what Miami's doing. We've seen that with Miami this season. They're one of the only teams in college football that has the talent, that has the guys to do that. Notre Dame doesn't have the guys right now to do that. They're not getting home. They need to find different gaps, different pressures, different, defensive schemes to put in there to confuse quarterbacks. I think they're going to need to start doing that today. Backs against the wall, they need to try anything.
Well, we still have a lot more to come here on ABC 57 Kickoff, including I go one-on-one with Riley Leonard. He's now with the Indianapolis Colts in a very good situation there. I also check in with former Arkansas quarterback and current radio color analyst Quinn Grovey. He's going to join us to help break down this Arkansas matchup. And former Notre Dame tight end Davis Sherwood, he is going to be joining me live here in studio. We also check in with Lou Holtz. He just held a media session at the stadium there in Fayetteville. We got so much more here to come on ABC 57 Kickoff. You don't want to miss it. Former Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard has found himself in a good development opportunity in Indianapolis. Riley was selected by the Colts in the 6th round, the 189th overall pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. Now he sits 3rd on the depth chart behind Daniel Jones and Anthony Richards as the Colts are off to a hot 3-0 start to the season. This summer, I caught up with Riley at the QBs for a Cause event in Chicago, where he shared his love for Notre Dame and how his time in South Bend prepared him for the next phase of his career.
Oh my gosh, I mean, after playing in the national championship, it's like you can't get nervous for an NFL practice. You know, that's all I've done so far, but like we played in the national championship, so like I think it prepared me in the best way possible. I feel like I'm the person that I've always wanted to be, but I still am chasing, you know, the best version of myself at the same time. So Notre Dame just shaped me to who I am today.
What was the NFL draft like, and what did it feel like to hear your name called and know you were going to Indianapolis?
You know, it's funny. I think the competitive side of me kind of kicked into gear a little bit. I don't think that I have a big ego, but internally, you know, I'm a very confident person, and going in the 6th round kind of gave me a little bit of motivation. You know, at the end of the day, everybody but the first overall pick in the NFL draft is going to be mad, but no, it was good. It was good to hear my name called. You know, I think my family really enjoyed it, so it's good to spend it with them.
I like to hear that because, you know, I was kind of looking for like, wow, it's a dream come true. And you're like, you know, I wanted to go higher.
Yeah, that's kind of the authentic answer, honestly. You know, it's just the way I felt. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way, but, you know, I think I have lots to prove and maybe a chip on my shoulder.
And just looking at the Colts and the situation that you have there, how do you feel like you can kind of carve your own path?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect fit for me. Being back in Indy, like, where would you rather be? Best state in the country, with the best fans in the country. I mean, everybody's been so welcoming. I think it's the perfect spot for me, and just very, very happy where I'm at. The quarterback room has been so good to me so far. Like I said, the fan base in the city, it's a beautiful place to be, and I'm very excited for it.
Just goals for yourself for this NFL season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was thinking about that today on the plane ride up here, and, you know, I don't know if I'm there yet on, you know, picking specific goals. When it comes to my goals, like, they're very small. It's like, Coach Steichen taught me this. It's like, all right, I'm going to complete 50 balls today. All right, boom. And then I'm going to run for X amount of time. And then I'm going to study the playbook for an hour and 15 minutes. Like, all right, boom. Those are my goals for the day. We can't look at like, oh, I'm going to win Rookie of the Year. It's like, all right, how do you get there? Do an hour and 15, you know, minutes in the playbook a day. Set yourself up for success.
And you kind of told a funny story here at this event tonight about being welcomed into the NFL. And what was that for you, the moment for the Colts?
Yeah, so you got a text from Michael Pittman. Hey, let's go out to dinner. Offensive skill guys. I'm like, sure, free steak. I'll be there. Show up. We all eat a lot. And the bill, obviously, was sent to me, of course. Why not? The rookie guy on the rookie minimum contract. So they sent it to me, but luckily it was a fake bill. Daniel Jones and Michael Pittman took care of it, so very thankful for them.
Man, Riley, he's so natural and just so honest in every interview we've ever done with him. Really great catching up with him and getting that rookie treatment in Indianapolis, too. But, you know, he has a really good opportunity to learn and grow with very little pressure right now behind Daniel Jones, who is playing lights out so far for the Colts. But, you know, Riley, when he got his chance to start in the final preseason game against the Bengals, he balled out. Leonard played the whole first half of that game, leading 3 scoring drives and completing 15 of 20 passes for 189 yards and a touchdown, including a 59-yard bomb to wide receiver Laquan Treadwell. Riley joins former Notre Dame offensive lineman Quentin Nelson and kicker Spencer Schrader in Indianapolis. When we come back, we still have much more to come here on ABC 57 Kickoff, including Davis Sherwood, former Notre Dame tight end. Stick around.
Held them, and their punter punted it 69 yards.
We come back, look at the time Quinn has here. He finally recognizes and finds James Rouse. Look at James running down the field. Great play.
Well, joining us now, Arkansas radio color analyst Quinn Grovey, also known to Razorbacks fans as former quarterback. Hey, welcome to ABC57 Kickoff.
Well, thank you for having me, Allison. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm very excited about this football game.
I bet. Well, first of all, let's take a look back at your career. From 1988 to 1990, you led the Razorbacks to 2 conference championships, passing for just shy of 4,500 yards and rushing for more than 1,700 yards. And you are a member of the Arkansas All-Century team. So I imagine calling a touchdown isn't quite the same feeling as actually throwing one, but share your experience being on both sides of that equation.
Well, I would say being a quarterback for Arkansas was really, really a great opportunity for me. It was so exciting, and to be able to lead a team to 2 conference championships. I'm the last quarterback and really the only quarterback to do that, so that's something I'm really proud about. But it's a lot safer in the booth, Allison.
So, Quinn, from one dual-threat quarterback to another, let's dive right into this matchup. And current Razorbacks QB Talon Green, he's averaging 297 passing yards a game, and he's also the team's leading rusher, averaging 90 rushing yards per game. How difficult is Talon to defend, and do you give the Razorbacks the edge there in this matchup between Green and the struggling Irish defense?
Yeah, Talon is very difficult to deal with. I mean, he is a dual-threat guy that can cause a lot of problems, and you have to plan for that. Defensively, you got to say, okay, are we going to spy it? How are we going to play him on the option? Are we going to close down, take the running back away, or are we going to make him keep the football? And then the other aspect of it is when he drops back to pass, he is such a threat when he runs the football. So when things break down, if it's 3rd and 7, he has the ability to take off and pick up 15 yards. So he is a big-time problem that you have to deal with. You talked about his ability to throw the football, but what he does in the run game just keeps defensive coordinators up at night. I mean, over 300 yards passing. You talked about the 90 yards rushing. I mean, he's one of the most talented guys in the nation from the quarterback position, and it shows by what he's doing, with all the total offense that he's producing.
Well, the Notre Dame defense is going to have its hands full for sure against Talon. Now, Razorbacks coach Sam Pittman said in his weekly press conference this week that this team needs to improve in 3 categories: tackling, better run game in that second half, and offensive turnovers. Which of these 3 do you feel is the most important area that needs to improve right now to give Arkansas a chance to win it today?
Well, I can't take all 3, so I'm going to go ahead and take tackling. Tackling is probably the most important thing because I do believe that Arkansas's offense is going to get things rolling. This has been a great offense, and this has been the position of strength. This has been the side of the football that has really carried this football team. They made some mistakes last week that really cost us. I mean, turnovers and things that Sam talked about in regards to not running the football. But if this Arkansas defense can find a way to tackle, it's going to be one of the most critical things they can do. When you talk about Jeremiah Love and Price, those 2 running backs, you've got to tackle them. You've got to put that on your to-do list. If you don't bring those guys down, I mean, the band's going to be playing the fight song. So that's one of the biggest things for Arkansas's defense. They've got to not only tackle, but they've got to game tackle.
Now, looking on the other side of that, Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr, while not necessarily a mobile threat, he's quickly acclimated to the college game with 3 starts under his belt now. From what you've seen of the Razorbacks defense, how much pressure will the edge bring? And with his ability to throw the deep ball, how does your secondary match up there as well?
Well, for me, I think C.J. Carr gained a lot of confidence last week versus Purdue. So I think he's on the right trajectory. For Arkansas's defense, our defenses, we've struggled. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we've given up a lot of deep balls. We've given up passes, or we've given up runs in the run game. It's been a situation where this offense has really had to be the defense, so to speak. But C.J. Carr in this offense, I think, has the advantage over us, but we've got to find a way to steal a possession or 2. We've got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd down. We've got to find a way to come up with a turnover. If not, it's going to be a very high-scoring football game.
Well, Quinn Grovey, thank you so much. Former Arkansas QB, we'll call you QG. Good luck on the call today. It looks like an incredible atmosphere out there. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Allison.
With the same rich tradition of the Irish.
Wake up the echoes cheering her name.
Send the volley cheer on high.
Shake down the thunder from the sky.
What though the odds be great or small?
Old Notre Dame will win overall.
While her loyal sons and daughters
march on to victory.
It's Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, and you're watching ABC57 Kickoff.
You're watching ABC 57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Well, we are in our final half hour of ABC 57 Kickoff, Vahid, and from Marcus Freeman to Brian Kelly, all the way back to Holtz and Parsegian and Rockne, the bar for success at Notre Dame has always been high, a standard that was set as far back as Knute Rockne.
But that standard, Allison, goes far beyond those football facility walls in South Bend. And when the Irish don't meet expectations, the chatter, the noise gets very, very loud. And in this week's Freeman's Focus, the call to find an answer is at a deafening volume. The gold standard.
I think it still starts with a buy-in, of it's me, everybody.
A phrase quipped by head coach Marcus Freeman when he took over the program in 2022. Essentially, it means anything short of excellence just won't cut it.
Right now, we got to make sure in our football facility that we're not pointing a finger at a call.
And right now, in Freeman's fourth season, the defense as a whole just ain't cutting it. Fresh off a dominating performance over Purdue that saw the offense put up over 500 yards, the defense still sputtered. A rebuilding team, the Boilermakers still scored 23 points and had 286 yards of total offense in the first half alone. Despite 2 sacks and 2 interceptions, Chris Ash's defense has given up over 1,100 yards of total offense and 64 first downs in just 3 games.
We got 1 or 2 options, as I told them.
Freeman sat down with Ash right after Saturday's game, calling the meeting uncomfortable.
We're going to do this and get our guys better and believe in what we're doing, or we'll separate. And if we separate, it's not going to be good for anybody. It's not.
At most other programs, a win counts as just that, a win. But that's not Notre Dame, and that's not the gold standard.
During tough times, there's 2 options. You fight or flight. And the guys that flight blame other people. It's the call. It's his fault. It's this coach's fault, or it's that player's fault. That's the flight mode. You deflect and blame other people. But the fight mode is, gosh, man, call man again. Nah, I got to coach this better. I got to coach this better. He should have known that this is the technique to play with. Okay, I got to change his technique. And that's the fight mode.
The only way to fix that, Freeman says, is from the top down.
That's my job, but also Chris Ash's job. It's our coach's job, on down to our players. You have to create the buy-in to what we're doing and the ownership of it. If we get that, we'll get it corrected with urgency. If we don't, if we do this, it's your fault. You shouldn't have called that. You're a bad coach. Then it's going to be bad. And I know our culture ain't going to let that happen.
Will it be fight or flight in Fayetteville? Will the gold standard be on display? For Chris Ash and this defense, the noise will be louder than ever. At 1-2, with their playoff lives at stake, it really comes down to this: excellence or else.
We're going to do whatever it takes to get this thing fixed, because we believe in it, we believe in each other, and we believe in this coaching staff.
That's some tough love this week from head coach Marcus Freeman, and you're right. I mean, we talked about it earlier. He was as real as it gets. You score 40 points at home, you expect to beat Texas A&M. You give up 30 points to a Purdue team that hasn't scored 30 points in I don't know how long, and now you're facing an Arkansas team with a dual-threat quarterback that is a bigger presence in the pocket. They've seen the film. Listen, it comes down to this, Allison. You have played with your back against the wall essentially for all but 4 games the last 2 seasons if you're Notre Dame and if you're Marcus Freeman. You know how to do that, but it's going to come down to making stops, and that is what people are talking about after the game. Can they make the stop when the game is on the line?
And the Razorbacks offense averaging 552 yards of total offense. So that is an incredible challenge. A quick update for you from Notre Dame's PR team. They said that Moore is still considered a game time decision, but we're hearing there at the stadium that he is warming up in full uniform, but he is taking the last of the snaps or the last of the reps. So it's still looking like he is not going to be playing today, but he is warming up in uniform. The PR team did say that all others on the 2-deep roster are available, so that looks like Devontae Smith is officially going to be back in action today and could be a big boost to that secondary. Well, becoming one of the most popular spots fans can see their team's highlights, get their news and updates is on social media. It's a place where fans can express their thoughts and opinions and talk about, the hot topics, the armchair quarterbacks, if you will. Lucky for you guys, our Gen Z reporter, Talia Baya, has been on social media all week flagging what people are saying about Notre Dame football ahead of this Week 5 matchup. Talia.
Yes, luckily the win last weekend hushed some haters, but you know how social media works. It's not really buzzing unless it's a big win or brutal loss. Cold world. But I kept scrolling and there definitely is still some outside noise. And one thing I noticed is Chris Ash isn't the only one on the hot seat. Even with a win, fans still are not loving defensive coordinator Chris Ash, especially after giving up 30 points to unranked Purdue. A group of unhappy Notre Dame students even putting up a Fire Chris Ash sign on NBC's live broadcast. One fan even noting Ash would be a better candidate after Mike Gundy was fired at Oklahoma State. But fans aren't the only ones upset. Freeman was also not happy with the defense in his post-game press conference.
We tried cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. And what happens is you start to panic. And you start to say, okay, this coverage isn't working, let's try this. This isn't working, let's try this. And then you're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. You've got to, they're going to make plays. They're going to make some plays. And you got to trust that, hey, this is what our game plan is. This is what we can do and execute.
And Chris Ash isn't the only one on the hot seat. Arkansas's head coach Sam Pittman is even in more trouble, with one Arkansas fan even paying for this billboard. A reporter even jabbing at his unsuccess rate a few weeks ago with this question.
Maybe year 6 under you doesn't sound quite as exciting to the eye, but I guess have you learned anything that
Was there a question in there?
Yeah,
what the hell are we doing?
Sorry.
However, with the win, there's still positives. Fans are loving the running back duo Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love, with Price averaging the most yards per kickoff return in the nation. They're also loving CJ Carr, saying he's better than Arch Manning, and that throw to Malachi Fields is not talked about enough. Let's hope the 20-year-old quarterback won't fold with all the pressure, especially in a hostile SEC environment. And lastly, what's going viral? Fans debating if South Bend or Fayetteville are better towns, shaking up both fan bases. My take is nothing beats a college town. Like all cities, there's some pros and cons, but I love South Bend and I love any SEC town. I mean, look at it today. It is beautiful, 77 and sunny, a perfect day for some football. And my take on Chris Ash, he's new, he has some wrinkles, but he's going to show up big today. Just watch. But for now, reporting from Fayetteville, Arkansas, I'm Talia Baya. Back to Allison.
Talia with a hot take there, Vahid. Chris Ash is going to show up big time today.
Let's all hope for everybody's sake that he shows up today and that the players show up and they get a much-needed win and silence some of that chatter in South Bend. Because boy, it's been loud these past 2 weeks.
Ooh, you could feel the hot seat for Sam Pittman as well. There was no question
sure.
there. He was just letting them know year 6 isn't looking good.
We have so much more to come here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We'll be right back.
One thing about Notre Dame and one thing about Arkansas, you don't need this matchup to fill the stadium. There's just something special about Arkansas and Notre Dame. These are two schools that are really special for different reasons, but they're very, very similar. One's a national school, and one is just the best state in the country.
Well, that was former legendary Notre Dame head coach Lou Holtz talking before today's game. Surprising, wearing his Arkansas gear, by the way. He is there in Fayetteville. He is an honorary captain today. They're going to honor him on the field. And having coached at both schools, Arkansas, from 1977 up until 1983, later making his way to the Bend, where he coached the Irish from 1986 to 1996. Well, joining us now in studio, we have a former Notre Dame tight end, Davis Sherwood. Thank you so much for being here. You're here in town now, so we took advantage in having you come in and join us here in studio. You played for the Irish from 2021 to 24, but your journey to South Bend was anything but easy. From walk-on, you changed positions, you had injury, you've just been through so many ups and downs. Kind of take us through your experience, through your career to be a college football player.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me. So, I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for all of us, and I think through my football journey, I've really seen that unfold. He's had a big plan to get me here, and all the downs in my career, they've turned into great positives, and I've made them that way through my responses. So, COVID struck the nation, and it was really hard for everyone. For me, it really derailed my recruitment, which had me start here as a walk-on. I didn't get the offers to, a school like Notre Dame, and I didn't want that to be the reason why I didn't play here. So I really believed in myself, and I worked hard and worked so hard that they thought I would be better at a different position, which was definitely, a difficult change. But again, maybe I wasn't happy about it at first, but it's been the biggest blessing in my life to play, tight end at tight end U. It's been a dream come true, and, have great coaches like Coach Reese, Coach Parker, Coach Denbrock be able to help me transition to tight end. It's been amazing. Like, when I look at my career, this has been the best thing to ever happen to me, and I could have never envisioned it. And those negative things that happened to me turned into the greatest blessings of my life.
Well, and that was something I wanted to talk to you about. You've gone from linebacker to fullback to tight end. You battled with injuries. You changed positions. You changed coaches. You changed complete sides of the ball. How difficult is a transition like that? And, it kind of take us through the coaches that you played for or recruited by.
Yeah, definitely. So, I came in, I played linebacker for Coach Freeman when he was a linebacker coach. We all love him as he's been a great head coach at Notre Dame, but he was my linebacker coach and D coordinator. I switched to fullback for Coach Reese as offensive coordinator and was with the tight ends with Coach Parker. He became my offensive coordinator, and then this last year Coach Denbrock was my tight end coach and offensive coordinator. So I never had any continuity at all, but every single coach at Notre Dame that I've been around has been awesome. They are so good at what they do. That's why they're here, obviously. And they've just helped me make that transition easy. They saw a lot of versatility and athleticism in me, which is, crucial to be able to switch sides of the ball. The movements, they're different, but at the same time, if you have a good, athletic foundation, you can adjust to it. So with their great coaching, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a journey, but, now I don't feel like I'm a linebacker anymore. I feel like I still could play linebacker if called upon, but I'm a tight end. They've trained me that way, and, it's been nothing but easy because of the hard work they've put in, the hard work I put in each and every day.
It's fascinating, and that can't be easy to transition with that many different coaches. But one of the things that your path has now led you down is going from football player to author. You wrote a children's book. We have it here on the table. It's Woody, What Would Woody Do? Sort of take us through the writing process and what readers can expect in a book like this.
Yeah, definitely. So with the book, I kind of highlighted already, I believe there's no such thing really as a setback in your life. If you have a firm mission and a firm belief, you can find ways to get there. And so I went to 3 different high schools, and talking to teammates and friends, everyone told me, hey, that's really inspiring. You should, write a book. People kept saying that. And then one time, 2 of my nieces and nephews, Mary Margaret and Rhett, if they watch the news, shout out to them. They were like, wow, like mommy, like daddy, like Uncle David showed his dreams do come true when I scored in the NC State game. So the book process, it was just telling my story, telling people what, I want to leave people with every single day when I meet someone. Like, you can accomplish whatever it is. It doesn't have to be sports. If you work hard towards it, you're going to get to it. And each and every time something seems like it's setting you back, you can find a way to work around it and lean on other people to help you get there.
I love that, and I think that's awesome. You gave a shout out to the niece and nephews. As we wrap it up here, you're here. You're in Michiana. Your dream of the NFL is still very much alive. What are you doing to get yourself in position for that?
Yes.
Coming off of a pretty severe injury.
Definitely. So I had it was just an arthroscopic surgery for my shoulder, so I'm healthy now. But that was a setback. I feel like I could have been contributing to an NFL team now, but I'm not able to. I wasn't able to do pro day or camp, but now I'm healthy. I'm training with Coach Landau and the staff here at Notre Dame. Bobo at T2 Sports Performance. He's been awesome, and it's been turning into a great blessing. I've been able to transform my body. I'm helping coach with the tight ends and special teams at Notre Dame, so I'm staying involved in the game, and it's just, I can already foresee, a year from now, it's going to help me be an even more impactful player at the next level.
Well, we are rooting for you big time, and I'm rooting for you to stay with us here for the end of our show. We're going to do our X Factors. I want to get your opinion. I think it might have something to do with the tight end if I had to guess.
If you had to guess, you're probably right.
All right, well, stick around, and you stick around. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to ABC57 Kickoff. There's a lot of similarities between the teams on the field, and it just so happens that the weather in South Bend and Fayetteville, it's basically a mirror image of one another. Kickoff temperatures, if we played the game in South Bend, would be around 75, and in Fayetteville, low to mid 70s as well. Plenty of sunshine and low humidity in both locations, and the weather couldn't be better for this game versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. Fighting Irish, temperatures in the 70s and near 80 by the end of the game. But an interesting note, Fayetteville, even though it's dry today, it was dry yesterday, has had 6 inches of rain since September 20th, so basically over the last week. So there are some reports coming out that the field conditions aren't the best, and that's due to this being a grass field at the stadium where Arkansas plays, and the amount of rain that has fallen. Grass doesn't really handle that all that well. So that's something to watch throughout the game. Even though the weather won't really impact the game and the wind is basically 0, we could see some impacts to that field condition because of the rain that has already fallen. And we're going to be watching the sunshine and hopefully an Irish win coming up over the next few hours. Back to you, Allison.
Well, all right, Dave. I love that he always gives us these little nuggets, and it's always super fun. I'll move over just a little bit here. I've got Davis Sherwood, former Notre Dame tight end, joining us for the end of the show. Vahid joining us remotely. All right, guys, we're going to go through our X Factors and our final predictions. I'm giving the first one to Talia. She is now in the stadium getting ready to go for game time, just minutes away. She said she's giving her X Factor to an offensive lineman, Gerby Lambert. That's an interesting choice. She says his ability to hold the edge against the elite pass rushers determines how comfortable Carr will feel in the pocket. She said she's given a shout out to the offensive line. How about you, Vahid?
Yeah, it's going to be defensive backs for me. I mean, with Leonard Moore looking like he's questionable or not going to play at all, somebody's going to have to step up in this defensive backfield. If Notre Dame is going to get the win today, how the defensive backfield goes is how Notre Dame goes. So I'm giving some love to Christian Gray. He's about due to have a good one and an interception, so I'm going to give him some love today.
Gray coming off a good one last week, so hope to see him build that momentum. I think you're going to like my choice here, Davis. I'm going with the tight end, but I'm not saying Ty Washington is going to be the star of this game by any means, but I think he's coming back to his old school. He's starting to get into a rhythm in the offense. He loves playing for Mike Denbrock. I think Denbrock is going to give him some more opportunities in this game, and I just hope and I think that he's going to take advantage of those opportunities. Again, I don't think he's necessarily going to be the star of the game, but I think he's coming in. He had 3 career touchdowns there in Arkansas. It would be a really cool story for him to have an opportunity to show out a little bit today in Fayetteville. How about you, Davis?
Definitely. I love Ty. I got to go with my guy Eli, though. Leading the tight end room, he does a lot of stuff that's unseen by the fans. He blocks incredibly well, and he can catch. He's very dynamic. I just think he's a game changer. We call it tight end U for a reason. He's the type of player that makes Notre Dame tight end U, so he's going to go make a lot of plays out there, and then when the running backs make plays, be sure to look out for him for making the blocks.
I want to see them go over the middle to Eli Raridon Moore. Huge body. He's just a huge, tall guy, presence out there. I got a special story coming up on him this season as well. All right, how about for our final predictions now, guys? Talia, we'll start with her. She has Notre Dame getting the win, 38-27. Well, I think that's a little low scoring. I don't know. What about you? Vahid, you're going in a totally different direction.
Yeah, all season long, I just haven't liked this matchup. I really just haven't. A 31-28. This is my second time picking against Notre Dame this season. I feel like it's trending in the wrong direction. especially on defense. I feel like offensively they can keep up with anybody in the country, but it comes down to making defensive stops. I haven't really liked this. I circled it earlier in the season as well. We talked about it in length. But also, what up with our guy, Lou Holtz, wearing Arkansas gear today? I'm not loving that either. So I hope I'm wrong, but, just bad vibes all around right now.
I feel you on that. We thought for sure, we knew he'd be rooting for Notre Dame, but hey, they're making him an honorary captain, so I guess he had to wear his Arkansas gear today. I don't know. I don't like it. I know Irish fans definitely don't like it. I'm taking the Irish in this one. I'm giving them huge points, 44-31, the final score. I think the offense is showing that they can score points. I think this defense is going to have a very difficult time slowing down Notre Dame's run game, and I think that the Irish defense is going to get just enough done and cause some turnovers to get this win for the Irish. Davis, how about you?
Definitely. I think the Irish, build off what we do each and every year with Coach Freeman. We get better every single week. So I think we're going to handle business and improve again off last week.
All right, you heard it. So everybody except for Vahid picking Notre Dame in this win today. Thank you all for joining us so much, Vahid. Any final notes for us?
Well, just watch out for Notre Dame's defensive backs. I feel like it's going to be the backs and the backs. If Notre Dame's offense can score a bunch of touchdowns, the defensive backs can make some stops, we've got a chance to make it 2 in a row here.
All right, we leave you with a look at the Golden Dome on this beautiful day here in South Bend. Thank you for watching, and go Irish.